Welcome to Third Phase UFO Report. I'm Rich Giordano from GUFON, and here is today's report. We have some interesting news to give you. Erich Von Daniken is going to speak to Dr. J Radio Live here. I got a few questions for you to listen to and review, and then we're going to look at a few UFO sightings. So buckle up, Erich Von Daniken, our Dr. J Radio Live.
Since the United States Navy released the three very famous naval footage of the Navy chasing the UFO, Tic Tac, Gimbal, Go Fast, what's your opinion on those, especially when the United States government, Lou Elizondo, announced we're still studying UFOs, which shows that they've been lying to us for decades when they said, oh, we don't study that stuff.
I know, of course, and I'm very happy that the United States government did release these facts. All through, they never speak of extraterrestrials. They just speak of unknown objects, so they don't have the courage to speak of extraterrestrials. Sooner or later, we will speak of extraterrestrials. And what I do miss, we still don't have good pictures of UFOs. We always see the same pictures, some kind of shadow who disappears and reappears, but we don't have real good pictures of UFOs. I am missing that. But I'm sure it's a question of the next 7 to 10 years that the large public worldwide would be informed. Yes, we are not alone. We are visited. Extraterrestrials are observing us. We don't have to be afraid of that. They are not enemies of us. They help us. This will come in the next years, inevitably.
Wow, you have to applaud Erich Von Daniken for saying what he just said. He says that he's happy that the Americans released some video and some information like that, but we never talk about the aliens. No extraterrestrial talk whatsoever. They always show, then he says they always show fuzzy, grainy video or pictures, I'm paraphrasing, that are always in the shadows and really hard to figure out. He thinks, Erich Von Daniken does, in the next 7 to 10 years that they will eventually start talking about extraterrestrial beings and why they're here and whatnot. I'm not as confident as him, but I guess maybe, you get up there in age and you hope that's going to happen. He doesn't think we have the cojones to mention the aliens on Earth, in Earth, around Earth. What a fabulous question answer.
What do you think of the Space Force? Some people like Linda Moulton Howe told me this has been around, at least almost 20 years. Other people say it was announced in 2017. It'll happen sometime later. A third group of people say, yeah, it was announced, created by Donald Trump, and it's in effect today. Do you think that we have a viable Space Force? Do we go further than traditional SpaceX rockets? Are we interacting possible with ETs or anything like that, in your opinion?
I think so. Brilliant personalities from the political side and also from the scientific part have made their statement in public. For example, the ex-defense minister of Canada, Mr. Paul Hellyer, clearly said that extraterrestrials are here. He even said some of them look like us. We could meet them on the street and we would not realize the difference between of them. Or Chaim Eshed, who is the chief of Israel's security of space, he clearly said, yes, extraterrestrials are here. Now, all these people, and there are more of them, are not idiots. They have the responsibility. They know what they am talking. In America, everybody knows the NASA. NASA is known in America. Nobody knows the French NASA. Of course, because in French, it's not called NASA, it's called ANSN. And the chief, Monsieur Yves Silla of the French NASA, clearly said, yes, we are under observation. It is time that we go to public with this. But the large public is still not informed. It's a shame. Sooner or later, the large public will be informed. At the moment, we are still afraid. The fact is, we would be shocked I mean, extraterrestrials have the possibility they could land over a football stadium. Now the cameras are there already, but it would be a catastrophe for the humans. We are not used to it. We would be afraid. We would say, well, will they enslave us? Will they take us over, etc.? So the community is not prepared. In the Western world, this preparation is going on by all these kind of movies and Star Treks and so on. But for example, in the Muslimic world, it would be a complete shock. They cannot understand extraterrestrials. They think we are alone.
Wow, what an answer he just gave. That was incredible. He's talking about the religious aspects and whether or not humans would be able to handle it if Space Force was to exist and announce that ET is here. He talked about Hellier, that they would look like us. They would be walking down the street. You wouldn't even recognize them. They'd walk right past us. You wouldn't even know it. And then I think he said, is the name Hesem Eshet? He said, yes, they're here, and that we're not idiots, that we are ready for this. And then he talked about French NASA. A lot of people don't even know what the French NASA is, he says. We're familiar with NASA here in America, but he said that the French NASA people are saying, let's go public. We're ready. We can handle it. And then he mentions the Western part of the world where we are and says that we're still afraid. If a UFO landed during a baseball game or football game, our cameras might be ready, but we wouldn't be used to it. Would they enslave us? He says we would think. Are they going to take over? Even though we have movies to prepare us, like Star Trek, he says, and Star Wars, I guess, the Mussolinics wouldn't understand it. They would be scared. I mean, he covered a lot of different things here, and I think I find it amazing that when you get older, you are desperate to want, you hope, you pray that it happens before you pass on. I agree and I don't agree with Erich Von Daniken here, but he says a lot of things that are right. He says a lot of things that are, could be taken wrong. Well, let me just say this. There is no right or wrong because it's never happened. Again, nobody's right, nobody's wrong because aliens haven't been here as far as we know and showed themselves publicly in the last 50 years. So let's get to the last one here.
Do you think that we will see disclosure in if your life, if not in my lifetime? I'm about to be 42 next week, so.
Oh, come on! In your lifetime, of course. Of course,
so
in your lifetime.
Because I, based on what I've been paying attention for decades, it seems to me that literally people have been talking about disclosure for 75, 80 years. But I am more optimistic now that we have so many new revelations that we didn't have recently.
Definitely. I'm in the meantime, I'm an old man. You won't believe it. I'm 87 years in a few months. But as you hear, my brain is still functioning. I always say the gods love me. But I know that this will come to the global mind within the next 5 years. There's no way out because too many people, too many pilots, too many satellites see these objects, see these UFOs. You cannot hide it anymore to the public. Sooner or later in the next few years, they will announce to the large world, yes, we are not alone. We are observed. There is somebody out there.
Wow, I can't believe Erich Von Daniken is 87 years old or gonna be. Well, he says he thinks it'll happen in our lifetime. Dr. J said he's 42. And Erich Von Daniken is like, oh yeah, no problem. You definitely will have it. More pilots are seeing it. More people are reporting it. There's more news, more mainstream media. Is there? I think this new office, the AOI MSG, is going to suppress a lot of stuff. No matter what the Galileo project captures, it's going to be suppressed with the addition of Elizondo and Mellon and others. So, I mean, you would think, as far as we've come as a society technologically in the last 50 years, you would think that we would have some sort of technological disclosure. Well, I want to know where it comes from. He's saying it like, yeah, I guarantee it, but let me tell you something. As much as we've kept it hidden, it's not that hard to keep it hidden. But I like his gumption. I like his positivity. All right, let's get to some UFOs. That's what we're waiting for. Here we go.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh shit, it's moving up and down. What the fuck is that?
God save that thing. You gonna pick a pumpkin bud? Oh yeah. We're gonna pick a pumpkin this thing. Okay. Oh my god, that one. You wanna keep walking, Peter? Yeah, I do. And he's sitting right behind you.
The thing is moving, or is the clouds? Is it just me, or is the clouds? What is it? What the fuck is that?
All right, Edson captured this last month in October in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. He says it's near the Milky Way Farm. Great name. What did he capture over the farm? That's the big question. What are we looking at? It's very bizarre in my opinion, but what I love about it, it's crystal clear in broad daylight. Incredible video. We're trying to get our heads wrapped around exactly what this possibly could be, but it's definitely there. There's no CGI. This is a real video, Brent. What do you think of Edson's video right here?
Yeah, I like it. Blake, it's crystal clear, like you just said, and you see it hovering above the trees, and it does go up and down, which is kind of cool. Is this a static UFO, a drone that's just positioned there, maybe not of this world? I'm still looking at it, and I have seen similar stuff like this where you can see maybe it could be a kite, but then again, I don't see no string attachment, and the winds, it seems fairly light, so whatever's happening down in the distance, it's really hard to tell, but it's still a great capture.
He's got the pumpkin patch and UFO encounters at the same time. Incredible footage coming in from Edson. I want to thank him for allowing us to share this with you. Again, it looks very stealthy.
Yeah, looking at this closely, I did see how far he pulled back with the camera, and you can see he's pretty far from it. I'm still trying to measure how big this thing is, and I'm going to give it maybe about 20 feet in diameter. Definitely has some good size to it, and you can tell it's just there hovering. If this is metallic, how could it be supporting itself?
I always liked this sighting. I remember I wanted to talk about it after it came out, but we never did. It looks like it could be something that's tethered, right? Because it seems pretty stationary. It is moving a little bit left to right, but I don't see it wobbling. I don't see it being erratic. You can see there's some wind. Looks like maybe 10 mile an hour, maybe to 15 to 20 up in the higher altitudes. But How big is this thing? Well, the guy pulls far away. And I was surprised how far away he was too, because when you zoom in, I mean, that's pretty clear for something that far away. Good camera work. It looks like it's rising. It looks like it drops a little, but it looks like it stays basically in the same box. You know what I mean? Like it's not wobbling out of position. It keeps that 2 o'clock angle. You know, if that was to be a hand on a clock, the thinner part at 2. It's unique. I look top to bottom on this thing, and I don't see anything that looks like a tether. But it is moving back and forth just ever so slightly. Man, I don't think it's a drone either. That is interesting. Why not?
Un ovni. What the fuck, bro? Un ovni. Mira. I don't know. It is. What the fuck? Take a picture. I'm recording it right here, perro.
Danny. That's already 6, perro. Oh, fucking. You're stopped on a green light.
Hey, Carrera, what is that shit, fool?
Danny, what is that, Danny?
I don't know, I'm recording it though.
That's already 6 lights.
Con su perra madre, what is that?
Yeah, like, that's 6, you stupid fucking loopers.
Hey, perro, I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was lights at first, but it wasn't, fool.
On top. Mira, se borraron las otras.
The other ones disappeared, though, perro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hell yeah, that's just hella fucking tight, fool. Esa pinche motilla está buena, güey, a la verga. Es su puta. Mis huevos, güey, a la verga, güey. Look at that shit, perro. The other ones, how the fuck are those disappear and then 2 more just appear in the fucking top, fool? Estás enfermo tú también, güey, a la verga. You're fucking retarded, fool. Look at that shit. Hey, fool, I'm fucking buzzing, fool, but that shit ain't fucking real right there. What happened to them? Where they at?
I don't know, man.
Oh, they're gone now. They're gone.
All right. Yep. People get excited when they see UFOs, little profanity here and there. I can't blame them. When you see this, people go nuts. They kind of go crazy, and, they just put it out there, and wow, we're looking at it. And, Daniel Ramirez, whatever he captured is pretty incredible, because what he's stating in his reply to me is that his friend saw this from a different location. So Daniel, let's see, this is how it goes. Daniel witnessed this in Arizona, but it was seen by other people in different locations all the way to Mexico. So whatever this is, I don't think it's an isolated incident. If this is a large craft traversing from Mexico to Arizona, or
Yes, these sightings have been seen pretty much 50 miles apart, maybe even 100 miles. It seems like there's been a lot of sightings over this area, and I bet we're going to see even more activity of new videos that's going to be submitted to Third Phase of Moon tomorrow with this new update of what just happened November 9th, 2020. So something's happening over the skies. If you guys were in the area, Arizona, Mexico, we're here standing by to look at these videos, and what I'm looking at could be possibly military flares being dropped. But then again, these guys are excited. You think they're in the area, they know exactly what's going down. Is there a military base in the area doing military exercises?
Yeah, absolutely, Brent. Military flares, possibly, but to have them in different locations at the same time, over hundreds of miles, it really doesn't make sense to me. So there is a possibility that they could be military, but some people are claiming that this looks like one massive ship, a massive flying saucer, or some starcraft.
Well, nothing's better than hearing a witness recording how excited he or she is while seeing something they can't explain. Now, what you're seeing here is what's parallaxing. The car is driving probably about 30 miles an hour or so, and you have an object that's stationary in the distance, and when the car moves, it looks like the object is moving with it. It is most likely stable or barely moving. And the weird thing about this is, I have seen this same exact pattern on probably 4 or 5 different occasions. I don't know why military flares end up looking like the way this does, where you'll have 3 or 4 on the bottom right or bottom left, and then above that you'll have anywhere 3, 4, or 5 in what looks like a line, a row. And we get to see that here. And this was videotaped, I think, in Arizona. And I guess they saw them in Mexico, around that area, the Southwest, which is not uncommon. There are military bases in Tucson, Arizona. There's several around the Phoenix area. I myself have recorded exactly the same pattern you're seeing here. 3 on the bottom, 3 or 4 on top. And they last about 5 minutes, and then they go out. 5 minutes to the second. Do I know for certain that this is flares? No. Was I there? Of course not. But I lived in the area, and I know that these things happen a lot. It's very cool, but I'm going to say it's flares, but we really don't know. Wow, great stuff tonight. Whoa, here we go down through that vortex into the digital universe that you call life. Thank you very much for hanging out tonight. This was great. You can find GUFON 6 nights a week, Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday for the UK. Thank you, Third Phase of Moon and all the panelists. I'm Rich Giordano from GUFON, and this was a Third Phase UFO Report.